Wants to know your take, man. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Who you got?
I don't give. No, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Jake Paul will be up against. He'll get teased for taking this fight, for one. He'll get teased for that. He'll work himself through that. But, yeah, if he goes out there and cleans his clock, they're going to come down.
As excitement continues to build around the upcoming Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson showdown, several boxing legends have stepped forward with bold predictions, adding even more hype to the already massive event. Lennox Lewis recently shared a simulated version of the
Here, Mike Tyson will be fighting Jake Paul. Not quite sure how that will go, but it could be something.
In a matter of seconds, Paul was sent crashing to the canvas as the fight came to a sudden end. Moments later, Tyson's arm was lifted.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Jake Paul's former opponent, Tyron Woodley, also agrees with Lennox Lewis' prediction, suggesting that Mike Tyson is still the favorite to come out on top.
Time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Iron Mike Tyson has graced the octagon. Tyson is ready to fight.
And Anthony, it is all over. I have to think this is going the distance, and he's dead.
Woodley continued by highlighting Tyson's unbelievable punching power, saying that a single clean shot from him could do serious damage. He explained, Mike has the kind of strength that can move your organs if he lands with the right amount of force. Honestly, he's probably forgotten more boxing techniques than Jake Paul has learned throughout his entire career. Woodley also added that if Jake Paul ends up getting knocked out by Mike Tyson, Tyson's age shouldn't matter.
At the end of the day, Mike Tyson, just watching the dude hit and pass in the bag, like I always have this inside joke. They be like, how much would you have to get paid to fight Mike Tyson? I'm like, I'd never be able to spend it. Like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's fighting the one fighter that most people feared. And I feel like 58, 27, the age is not a factor. That's a wash, right? Experience level obviously is going to go to Mike Tyson. But Jake's got a screw.
UFC welterweight contender Matt Brown believes that facing Mike Tyson at this stage of Tyson's life will be a step backward for Jake Paul's career rather than a meaningful achievement. Brown explained, I think that's the biggest issue with this fight. It's a lose-lose situation for Jake. Of course, he's making a huge payday. Netflix is paying well, everyone is going to watch it, and people will keep talking about it. According to Brown, Paul is in a difficult position.
If Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson, I don't give if he's 70. You're going to have to put at least an ounce of respect on his name. Mike Tyson right now, off muscle memory alone, he can have a flashback, right? He can step on the wrong eggshell and let off a combination that can kill most people. No boy. He has the power and ability to shift organs in your body if he hits you with the right force, right? So I think he forgot more technique than Jake Paul has ever learned in his life.
Alice also admitted that he has gradually become more supportive of Jake Paul. He explained that his change in opinion wasn't without reason, but instead came from recognizing Paul's clear sense of purpose, determination, and long-term vision for his boxing career.
It's going to make money. You want me to say more than that? Is there a need to say more than that?
Moreover, Atlas confessed to becoming a supporter of Jake, crediting this not to insignificant reasons, but to Paul's clear vision.
I'm actually a fan of Jake Paul's, and I'll tell you why. The American dream. He had a vision. He had a belief. He went out there. He took all his YouTube, whatever you call those freaking things, all his YouTube followers. He went to a different platform, to a different arena. As I said, he had a vision for what he was going to do.
Atlas acknowledged that Jake Paul did come up short against Tommy Fury, but he pointed out that the fight was closely contested. He also praised Paul's respect for the sport of boxing, saying that after spending more than 50 years in the boxing world,
he had the guts, he had the determination to go out there and color in that vision and take risks doing it. Yeah, everyone says he's fighting old guys. He's fighting guys that aren't real boxers. He's fighting guys that are boxers, but they're not good boxers. All that. But he has taken risks. He's been in there with MMA guys that, like I said about Ngannou, you know, they might have been a little older at the time, They might not have been purely a striker. Obviously, they were UFC champions, but they were champions.
We all know that Mike Tyson has gone through an incredible transformation over the past few years, rebuilding both his life and his finances in remarkable fashion. Speaking about the upcoming fight, Matt Brown admitted he was genuinely surprised that Tyson even accepted the challenge. He said, "That's the part that shocks me the most. I honestly don't know what Mike is thinking or what convinced him to take this fight. I don't believe he's short on money, and I never got the impression that he had a strong desire to compete again." With Tyson putting everything else on hold to prepare for his July showdown with Jake Paul, Brown says he simply can't understand why the boxing legend has become so committed to this comeback. He added, "Mike has talked for years about not wanting to be that guy anymore, so it's really strange to see him step back into the ring. That's what confuses me the most." Brown made it clear that he has no issue with Jake Paul taking part in high-profile crossover fights, pointing to matchups against Nate Diaz and Ben Askren as examples he enjoyed. However, he questioned the logic behind fighting someone who is only a few years away from being considered a senior citizen. He explained, "I'm all for these crossover events. I'd actually love to see Jake take on more of them. A fight with Mike Perry would be awesome. That's the matchup I think should happen. Give Mike Perry a big payday. He's become a huge star in BKFC. Everyone is talking about him, and he'd be perfect for promoting a fight. If Paul wants another major crossover opponent outside the boxing world, Brown believes there are plenty of better choices than Tyson." He said, "There are a lot of names that would make great entertainment fights. Mike Tyson just isn't one of them. Leave the guy alone." Even though Brown doesn't like the matchup, he still hopes Tyson is treating the fight seriously and preparing to compete at his best. He admitted, "I still think this whole thing is ridiculous, and I'm honestly shocked Mike agreed to it. I just don't understand what his motivation is." Brown then jokingly echoed the hopes of many fans, saying he wishes Tyson could recapture the fearless aggression he had in his 20s. In an exaggerated and humorous remark, he imagined Tyson entering the ring with that same relentless intensity, knocking Jake Paul out so convincingly that Paul would never want to fight another older opponent
Iron
again.
Mike.
Meanwhile,
I'm not going against Mike Tyson.
I'm not neither.
Mike Tyson is one of those guys that you see his name, I'm voting Mike Tyson. I'm going for Mike Tyson.
While many fans are backing the 27-year-old Jake Paul to come out on top because of his youth and physical advantages, despite his relatively limited boxing experience, there is still a large group of supporters who refuse to count Mike Tyson out. The age gap between the two fighters is undeniable, but Paul George believes that Tyson...
I care the age gap, like, he
take it serious.
Actually fighting a boxer. Like, he's not fighting a MMA guy. He's not fighting a wrestler. He's not fighting an entertainer. He's fighting a boxer. I don't care how old the age gap is. He's fighting a boxer.
Back in 2022, Mike Tyson openly criticized Jake Paul's boxing style, saying he found Paul's punches far too easy to read. Tyson remarked, "You can see Jake's punches coming from a mile away. I'm 55 years old, and even I can spot them that easily." He went on to say, "I'd beat those guys by walking straight at them. There wouldn't be any fancy boxing involved. The only thing I need is to get myself back into fighting shape." In another interesting story from that same year, legendary trainer Freddie Roach revealed that Tyson spent less than 30 seconds watching one of Jake Paul's sparring sessions before deciding to leave. Roach recalled, "Tyson watched him spar for about half a minute, then turned to me and said, 'Freddie, can we go downstairs and look at the pictures?' He knows that's where all the great photos are. He wasn't nearly as interested in watching Jake as I was." Roach also shared his opinion of Paul's abilities, describing him as an average club-level boxer. He explained, "Jake is okay, but I'd call him more of a club fighter. I don't know him personally, and I've never really met him. He once asked if he could use the ring at my gym, and I told him to go ahead." Jake Paul, however, strongly rejected those claims. Speaking with TalkSport, he argued that Tyson had never actually watched him fight or spar. Paul insisted that he had never trained at Freddie Roach's gym and accused Roach of getting the facts wrong. He also dismissed the veteran trainer's comments, suggesting that Roach was simply another critic and pointing out that he no longer works with many top-level fighters.